You know, when he worked for the county where he could clean off those maintainer blades and his front end loader bucket. And then he used this chain, these two hooks, and it's a short chain, see? You pick up them tin horns with that front end loader. With a hook like this, you can't get it on the end of a tin horn. You have to have these big hooks. You'd raise it up and then lay a big chain under it, see, and let it down. Lay it in the middle and then go over and pick it up and put it on the dump truck. These were all his chains. I think one of our milk customers gave him this one back in the dirty 30s. I remember. Miss Boyles. Floor, and she stepped on it and like to turn the ankle. She just give it to him. He said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And this, they've all got a hook on both ends. Them good chains. And these boomers, this one here used in the. This one was in the oil boom. This a lot heavier built than this.
Uh-huh.
They're the same size. See, a little bigger hook, big little different. So I don't. That was back in 25, 26, 27. I think I was working over there during the oil boom. And that's one of his old leather punches up there. Right here. Old leather punch. There's a little boomer. So I guess there's one of his old pipe wrenches. You can tell them old ones, they don't have no dog knot down there. These newer ones got a little knot right there. See, that's straight. You can get a piece of pipe on there and use it for a cheater. It's got that dog knot, you gotta get a lot bigger piece of pipe and it doesn't work as good, see? I guess that back covers the chain depot then. No. They had that old medicine cabinet. Give $1.65 for it new. Of course it's all wood. Got this glass pull that came on it. That's been around a long time. I'm still using it. Then this old ranch here, he found that back in about 1910. There was some convicts, they called them then, out of Fort Worth building a road with teams, mules, Fresnos, Drapers. One of them left that leaning against a tree. And he was taking Ma riding one Sunday and saw it, and he jumped off and picked that ranch up. She thought the reason he stopped that horse, they were in a buggy, she thought he was going to propose. But he ran over and got that ranch. There's an old ice sign, remember them? You turned it, you know, if you want 25 pounds or 50, 75 or 100, you just set it in your window, see, and then you'd know what size of block. Most of this is just kind of collectible. This is modern here, this nail pouch thermometer. That's just tin. See, but this is porcelain. See where it broke off there? That's an old Prestone. They don't even make it anymore. Antifreeze. That was your set, safe, and sure. Them old ice hooks are pretty old. Them old bits are pretty old. They say they got that short shank on there. Them short shank ones are the oldest ones. And if they got a real high port too, they don't make them quite like that anymore. That Carter key come out of a boxcar. That's big in there. There's a match holder. There ain't no more JIKs, implement, combine, tractor, ain't no more of them. Well, that's kind of a keeper. And I guess this here is just kind of, there's our old camping skillet. Them look like them been in a fire a time or two, don't they? Campfire. Kind of black. Then over here, that old sun visor's off an old 48 Chevy I had. Wished I had the rest of it to go with it. And I bought these old horse collars at a garage sale. Them wasn't Paul's. He sold all his when he quit farming. They're in pretty good shape. There's a pad that goes with it. That was Ma's old hot plate where she used to heat water to wash with. Out there in the garage. Them old wooden pop boxes is hard to find anymore. And that old Dr. Pepper box is pretty old. That's a wooden one. See, that was a twin 6, they called it. Just put 6 on each side, see. Everybody needs some of them gallon and half gallon and quart milk bottles. We got plenty of them. Those oil filters, I think, they're for a 1950 Chevrolet truck. They're new, just like new. Then there's there's a can of quart of Z-Rex and a quart of Prestone. They hadn't made that and I don't know when. Of course, they don't make that Prestone anymore. Them was Paul's. They're still full. He didn't throw away nothing, did he? Look here at this old Oklahoma license plate. See, and it's still on the tail light.
Huh.
See that light? That's showing up on it. Lighted up at night. 49. I usually turn it around this way, where you can't tell where that sucker's from. Old Newman give me that. That's that old wagon, that's an old spring seat. That was Uncle Homer. They eat it. And Robert, their son-in-law, gave that to me. See, there's the spring right there. I'm gonna put some of that gun blue and stuff on there. Put them back on here. Set that in half. That's oak. It's tongue and groove. I got all the milk bottles. There used to be 5 milk distributors in Amarillo. I got all 5 of them. I never kept. Let's see. Flames and Goldsmith. Seal Test. Sometimes I can't remember all. Borden. Then there, oh yeah, there was an Anderson deer, yeah, and then at one time. Now there ain't none of them left but plain. That old gallon in there, see, got a metal handle. This one here's plastic. So that must be an old one there. These Folgers, see, they put that coffee in them glass jars during the war, I think. That's why they're glass to the metal. That's to clean the battery. That's really old there, that Conoco antifreeze. Now let's see, these old clevises of Paul's, these are not so old, but see, you put that on your hitch, see, on your tractor, and then run a chain through it. You just pull in a hair or something. That's what one way you could use it in clevis. I kept all them. See here's another one. See, this is threaded here. See, you just screw that pin in here.
Now, I got some semi-good news.
Hey!
It's not the winner, but look, you did win $21 because you had 3 numbers.
Oh, that's only $3.
Uh-huh.
$3.
The paper said $21 if you had 3 out of 6.
Oh, did they? It's always just been 3. I had 3 right.
You had 3 right.
Yeah, I kind of remember. Where did you find that?
Because that's part of my numbers, 1, 3, 14.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe I'm wrong then. I just was looking in the paper though, and I thought it was $21, so we'd each get $4 apiece.
Yeah.
But if that's not, if you get 3, you only get $3.
See, we used to have 2 of these. See, they'd hold 6 quarts of milk, see? You could carry them out to the car and unload and go back and get 12 more. That was back when we delivered milk. That's what we used, them old quart bottles, you know, and you had to put the cardboard cover on there. I still got one. I think one of these, yeah. Nah, I thought there was one out here. I had it on. Where'd that thing go? I guess I don't. Well, I guess I'm losing my mind. Well, okay. Anyway, one of them. But that's what that's for. Okay, well. Yeah, there's them. See, these are all railroad lanterns. See, you can tell the way they're built. You know, different from this. We had 2, 5 railroad lanterns. Some in the house. And I think all of them but one, you know, are ready to go. All you got to do is pour the coal oil in them, and I got 5 gallons of coal oil back here. This one still works. Be good, you know, fishing lanterns. This that green one there that was Paul's. It still works. The blue one works, and that one there works. Them others don't. So, oh yeah, I got enough. I can give each one of you one of them little red ones if you want it. We're running out of room in our suitcase. Now, here's a, look there, there's a 1939 California World's Fair. That good, 1939. That's still in pretty good shape, and that is Miles' old pressure cooker right here. And then that was some of our milk buckets up there. And remember them bullets, shells used to come to the hardware store in these boxes? Look how well built they were. They're pretty neat. I kept 2 of them. They got some ivory snow, you know, like granulated. I don't think they make that anymore. And them old beer cans there are really collectors out. They're all them old, you know, metal, hard metal, steel beer cans. And these cigar boxes, there's a 1932, see? And here's a cheese box. Used to get cheese in these little wooden boxes. See, here's one, Clover Bloom. This Armour's Clover Bloom, and this is a Kraft cheese. And there's Loretta Young on that RC Cola advertisement. That's kind of old, isn't it? Then you got me that, you know, that Coors Waterfall. Then there's a lot of good license plates. I've got some match sets. And then right here, it's kind of dark. Reckon it's picking this. Just over there, and let me turn this light on where we can see these plates. I got another, maybe this don't light up. See, this plate right here was a 1944. You just took one bolt out of your license plate and then bolted that back onto your old one. Lift the old ones on, and here's the 43. Little different shape. 1 by 2 inch. The same thing, you bolted them, you know, right on. Take a bolt out and then stick it back. There, that's, of course, they were saving metal. So that's pretty. You don't see too many of them anymore. Now all them Xerox cans, there's several of them are still full in 1 gallon. That top one there is, I remember that, you know, that color combination. Them come out in the 40s. Okay, next. Here's a railroad crossing sign. I found that in a bar deal. It's not old, see, it's that new stuff. Anybody needs, you ever need one of them for anything, well, holler. You got a train coming through your living room, here's what you need right here. Hard to walk in here, ain't it? You got them license plates, didn't you? Get them on there?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. There's them some old hubcaps up on top, and 2 Dodge and a Chevrolet. And they're a lot older than these others. Them go back to the 30s and 40s. Let's see. They got some, see there's, I forgot over there by those pop boxes, those are cappers. Those 3 different things that look like, you know, they're up there with them handles. Those are cappers. Guys, you know, make their own beer and cap their own. They do a little different now. I forgot about that. Now we just have to hunt stuff, John. I can't. It's so hard. You know, some of it's new, some of it's old. that head gasket up there, that come off one of them old one-lugger motors I was telling you about that you know, they pump them oil wells with. All of them there are electric. You don't see any of them anymore. See, that's how big the cylinder was. That's about the best. See how that's beveled? That's a knife. That's the prettiest, best, most perfect, biggest knife I ever found. Got a little piece knocked off there. The other than that is perfect. See how they put that bevel on it? It's got an edge here. Got an edge here. Get it in the sun.
And what all did they use that for?
Well, you know, knives like, you know, cutting bones and things like that. Meat, I guess. They might have scraped a little with them, but a scraper's little. But that's the most important thing they got. One guy offered me $500 for that. But he, you know, he's a hunter, collector. If you didn't, it wouldn't be. Okay? You got her?
Yeah. So you keep it in that little pouch, huh?
Yeah, maybe keep it from getting broke. See, you got that. Okay, there's one. Let me get some of these in. Okay, this is that's what they call a round knife, see? Just about half of it gone, one guy said. I think it could have, they sometimes tapered that flint on down like this and then drove a horn or any kind of bone on there for a handle, see, and use it for a knife. And this is just an end scraper. You know, always tell them scrapers, see they're flat and slick on this side, they kind of hump up. They held it like that, see that finger goes right there. Scrape them hides. And this is what they call a side scraper. See, it's kind of flat. Or knife. See, it's been worked on all of that. See where they worked at? So that's kind of a combination. You can scrape or cut. You can't hardly cut with this, see? And that, the way that's built, you could really hold it in either hand, this way or this way. This is one of my biggest points. Of course, the bigger they are, the better, because the bigger they are, the older they are. These modern ones, you know, or go back to the little one. And this is nearly perfect. It's got a little piece broke off right there. But it's got a good color. It's got a lot of secondary flaking, they call it, on here, on these edges. And they're both sides are pretty good, kind of a mirror image, they call it. It's got good working along there, see? So I wasn't even hunting the day I found that. I was picking plums. So I'm really proud of that baby. Some of them argue when they get to that size whether it's a spear point, what some of them say. Some of them say it could be, they might have tied a handle on there instead of a shaft and used them for knives. A lot of them argue. But one thing about it, I can say what I think it was, because they don't know no more than I do. They wasn't there and I wasn't either. But the bigger they are, the harder it is to drive it in, you know, something very far. But anyway, that's one of the better ones right there. So, get that back in there. That's Ma's old case. Now these are called four-bladed knives. See that bevel? See, it's beveled here, in here, here, and here. And this is another, this would have really been a better one. It broke. See, half of it's gone. It would have been a lot bigger than this one. Got a little better work on it. Those four-bladed knives are really hard to find. And I'm sure they also use some of them for scrapers. Or knives, you know. They had it right there. Well, that's what, those are really hard to find. This is sure making me want to go hunting. I haven't been lately. And this is pretty rough. It's broken so bad, but you find a lot of that. That would have been about that long. It's not near as old as that big one. This one may probably about, I don't know, 1,000 years old maybe. Here's another, there's so many different, they named some of these after the tribes, and I can't remember all that. There's another one that doesn't really look like a point, but that's what it is. See, right in here is where they done their tying. They split the end of those, you know, shafts and tied them. Okay. Next. There's another one of those little round knives. Broke off again. I imagine they broke a lot of them when they put them. That's why I think all these have handles on them, because there's so many of them broke. See, they just taper that flint off, you know, and using them, they break them off. All right, I'll have to close it. Let me close this up real quick. This one here. Okay. There's some rattlesnakes I killed out there. These are some of course, the bigger ones. A lot of times they break them things off. Some of them may break them up close to the body. Sometimes they break them off out here and here. But of course, there's all different, you know, sizes. And some of them, what I always heard, every time they shed their skin, they'll grow another button on them. So, you can't hardly go with the age, because sometimes they shed their skin more than one time each year. So, that's another argument, but that's what some of them say. All I know is I kill them and get the rattlers and go on. Now we'll open it. I left the open this there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was out there walking across a creek one day, and I started up a cow trail, and right in the bottom of it is after a hard rain, and there lay a little old point. Well, some people call them arrowheads, some call them points. I call them arrowheads. Them high dollar hunters call them points. And that's what started me to hunting. That was about, I don't know, and 20 years ago, I guess, 25. And it was a white point. Wasn't much color to it, but, and part of it was broke off. But that's what got me. Yeah, here it is right here. Right there, that's the first one I ever found. It just broke off right there, see? The notches, yeah. Then that, you can see how small they get. These are all, I don't see how they put them notches on those little ones without breaking them. And I'm sure they broke a lot of them, you know, making them. They might have, you never know, they might have broken that making it. It might not have ever been used. You know, nobody knows. Here's that Clovis. I think I'll leave it. Now this is what they call a Clovis point. See, they don't have notches on them, and they'll all have that curve like that, and they flute them where they can split that and shove that shaft on up a little further, see? That may not look like it, but that's a high, those are hard to find. Let's see, I have to stop and think. I think, let's see, the plain view point goes back to 8,000 years, and then the next oldest is Folsom. I think it goes to back 10,000 years, and then the Clovis goes back to, I think, 15. So they named those Clovis. They gotta have a name. These guys that hunt them, these archaeologists, though, like Clovis, Plainview, and Folsom, those are not named after Indians. Those are named after towns, because they were close to that town when they dug these up. And the first Clovis point was found out around Clovis, New Mexico. And they found that point in some bones that dated back, way back, you know, to the, you know, way back in the prehistoric time. Some of those bigger, you know, we had some in the big, they call it, well, buffalo, they call them bison now. And that, of course, that's how they get the age, you know, they take those bones and run that, what is it, carbon-14 test. So if that point is in one of them bones, well, they pretty well know, you know, it was associated with that animal, see, and that's how they get the age on it. All right, can you get these? Now here's another big one. We'll get it in the sun. That's another pretty one. That's a shame that thing broke off too. I sure like it color. But I think again this was a knife. It broke it off. Anytime it's broke like that back on this end, that's why I'm kind of suspicious they're knives, see. Or it could have been a, you know, what they call a spear point. And we just don't know. You just use your own judgment. But it's one or the other. But it is pretty and hard to find. All of it is. The easy stuff's gone. I'm just a surface hunter. I don't dig. There's another little 4-bladed knife. You can see that where it's tapered. Worked along those edges. They really broke it here, broke it here. Probably some woman was using that, because it's broke twice. Oh, yeah, moving right along. Here's some more of that delicate work. Look how little that one was. Look at them notches in this one. Let's see, they call these are called Fresnos. been so long since I tried to identify these, I forget. This is a little old bitty scraper. See, it's flat over here. Little hump over here. Hold it like, that's probably for a kid. 'Cause them men didn't scrape them hides. They were sitting over there drinking that buffalo juice or whatever they drank. Women and kids done the scraping. So there's all sizes, and some of them will fit your left hand a lot better than your right. Some of them will fit both hands, so you know they'd scrape a while with this hand and then maybe turn it over and then scrape with your left hand. But some of them, those scrapers only fit in your left hand. And you know they had left-handed Indians. Don't try to tell me they didn't. Of course, I may not be able to tell you they did, but how can you tell me they didn't have? Now here's some more. Here's some more points. See, that's pretty. I found this one time after a hard rain. I started across the creek in my pickup. I stopped and walked a little ways where there's some rocks. Had a bunch of stuff trapped after the water quit running. And I found this point. And about 5 years later, I drove by that same place after a rain and walked down there and found that one. So, needless to say, I've been walking by that place a lot ever since and found nothing. And all these, I can't remember the names. See, this is a lot different here, the way these are built. It looked like, see, it's kind of out of shape. Kind of looked like the southwest wind blew it out of shape. But this tribe made all theirs, they all look like that, you know, to a certain extent. Just like this one, see, that's kind of odd looking. But boy, that'd have been a big one. It'd have been about that long, see. You can take these broken ones, see, and lay it on a piece of paper and then take your pencil and draw it on out. It may take you 2 or 3 passes, and then you can tell pretty close to how long they were, see, by drawing it on out. Now, where were we? Wait a minute, let me look. Let's see, we got all that. Oh yeah, that. Here's another pretty scraper. If you ever find one, then you'll never forget them. But of course, they're all a little different shape. But see there again, there's a flat side, and they kind of curved them. And that one will work. That one work good in either hand. The way they built that. So you scrape one and get tired. Scrape one with that one, 'cause it took a lot of scraping. I'd rather been drinking that iced tea or lemonade, Indian lemonade, huh? And of course, they all come in different colors. I think some of them Indians, that color didn't mean nothing to them. Especially scrapers, or probably points too, because they were wanting to make their tool, so why would color matter? So whichever piece, you know, was closest to the shape they wanted, well, they just used it. So whatever. But sometimes I think some of that ceremonial stuff that they did, you know, go for the color. One of my favorites is this blood red. See, that was a point. It's broke pretty bad back here on the notches. I've got one somewhere, I don't know where it is. It's about this color. It's got a lot of blue in it, a point. And it got a blood red streak, a hairline streak running the whole length on both sides. I don't know where it is. I got some, damn, it's pretty. Okay. Now, oh yeah. Now these is hard to find too. This is a drill. See, you held it right there. It's probably about that long, see it? The points broke off, and then they use them, you know, to make a hole in those hides for one thing, and I'm sure they used them for a lot of different things. It depends on how far back you go and what, you know, Indian tribes, some of them might have used some little sharp pointed ones drilling them holes and different things, beads and whatever. And I think, I'm sure believe, and a lot of my hunting buddies believe too, a lot of these drills were a point or a knife they broke, and then they just went ahead and worked them on down. Those are pretty hard to find too, because they didn't make as many of them as they did those. I guess they made more scrapers than anything. But of course, later, you know, modern day, you know, historic Indians, like those Navajos and things. Now, I don't know much about that bowl making, pottery. Somebody asked me one time if I find much pottery where I hunt, and I said, no, them wild drunken Comanches and Apaches and Arapahoes that were around here didn't make pottery. They were busy getting scalps later on. But, yeah, that gets out into Arizona, don't it? Now, let's see. I thought I had another. Yeah, here's another. Now, this is a bigger scraper. See, now it's got some of that blood red, I call it, on both sides. That makes it kind of pretty. This is kind of a side scraper. You put the thumb right there. Side scraper, knife, either one. A big scraper like that is hard to find. They're kind of unusual, but you find them every once in a while. Most of them, those others like I was showing you, just, I call them end scrapers. Some of them call them little thumb scrapers. And I said, well, you reckon what them, you think those Indians called those end scrapers or thumb scrapers? But, of course, now, you know, you gotta identify them now, so that's a good name for them. Well, let's see. Now, I guess that's all of it that I got out here right now, John. Oh, here's this other one. Another point. That's not as old as those Plainview and Clovis, but it goes right up to them, right up to the Plainview. It's been about that long. Me and one guy figured it about 5,000 to 6,000 years old. This was. I was fixing to quit hunting late one evening. The sun'd already gone down. And I was walking back to pick up. I was in the bottom of a creek, and I looked way up on the bank, and it was laying in there like that. All I could see, and it looked like flint sticking out, and I went up there and dug it out, and that's what it were. What she were. So, I guess we pretty well covered all this. There's another one of them four-bladed ones, broke in the middle. A lot of them broke in the middle there. These little old boxes are pretty handy. Put them in. Try to, them's hard to do. Well, okay. I guess that's about, we about covered it, John. Well, we can, if you wanna shut her down, man, I'll put that battery charging. These are buffalo teeth. And I don't, look there. Wouldn't you hate, I bet no dentist has got any tools big enough to pull that one. See, that'd come out of the gum. That's a big one there, ain't it? I found most of them in banks, or, you know, or where something's gone dry after a rain. Bank or some little creek or draw, cave off, and there'll be part of it sticking out maybe like that. So I get up there and dig it out with a knife, and boy, that gets hard in a hurry. This ground around here. Sometimes you're kind of barely holding on, and up there, then you slip and have to climb back up. But I bring them all in. I guess one has been enough, but I brought. And you don't see too many of them. Someday I may run across a skull. Of course, I got that one, but it's modern. But it is a real buffalo skull. It still had the hair on it when I got it. But it's been outside about 7 years now, and it's about ready to bring in. So that's the end of the tooth department. Well, I had Liz here, I guess, to clean